retire. And I saw this fact online that said if you save roughly, I think 80%, it was either 50 or 80% of your annual income for 7 years, around 7 years, that you could retire. And then I became obsessed with what it would mean to retire, what I could do after retirement. How do I retire as early as possible? And that's kind of what sparked the idea for this video, retirement. My goal is to retire at 35. Really 30, but if I aim for 30, then I think it makes it more realistic to hit it by 35. But I want to be able to create. I want to be able to help people in a way that I can only really do if I'm not constantly consumed by a 9 to 5. And so I started thinking, what can I do that's creating a video, coding, and helping me retire earlier? And so I just made me a little calculator. I do know that there's already calculators out there in the world for this thing, but I think it's different when you make your own and really see what goes into making something like that. And it's mine. Like, this is my calculator, so it makes it a little more special. But you're gonna kind of see my process, my thought process, my actual, doing it process, and yeah. All right, so in this section, I'm basically showing that this is kind of how I'm structuring the app. So I'm gonna have procedures, or you can think about that like anytime I want to do something like a calculation or something, I'll have a specific procedure tied to it, and then that'll kind of just tie into whatever it needs to. Maybe I'm trying to calculate if I use this amount of money for this amount of time, what age, blah blah blah, whatever. That's kind of how that will be. So that's what that folder will be. I'll have a data management, so maybe that's average percent yielded in 2015 or 2020 or something. I go by 10-year spans versus every year, or maybe I go every year just to kind of make it easier. And then this will also hold, maybe I want to do every calculation, it saves, or you can take the option and save it so that you can go back and look at it. Like, if I use these numbers, what would that yield me? I'll have the UI. This is the actual forms that I'm going to be using, what you see. So, and then obviously your main. This is the structure I'm running with, and I kind of be going from there. I use VS Code, and I've been getting into using Copilot because if I'm using it for simpler things, I feel like the convenience of already having it in my workspace is really nice, and it's free. I haven't run into any issues where it's been asking for money for more tokens. I've just been kind of trying to move with learning. I think there's a very fine line between relying on AI for everything and losing your mind to it versus using it to enhance you and kind of using it as a partner that you delegate things to. I kind of gave it this prompt. I said, actually, let's change it up. I want the main.py to be more pair for now, and I want to create a UI in a UI folder. What was I saying? And then show or unshow. So basically, like, it would use show and unshow logic. So every screen would be there, every, like, the main UI, the settings, but then you would unshow it if you don't need it, show it when you need it. And then create a procedures folder for all the logic, data management for history, and what I just said. So we're actually going to keep everything and go ahead and see what it's missing in the main pie. And now we're going to move into Figma, because I'm going to actually create the look of how I want to do my UI. So first I'll sketch it out, and then I'll create it in Figma. We'll transport it into GPT and try to kind of get like some code for it. or maybe transport it straight into here if I can. I kind of go back and forth between using GPT and Copilot, but next step. This will be the final part in the video, and this is basically me just implementing that UI I just made into the code and then using the application. Hello, it's Millie again, and I thought today we'd actually go ahead and use the calculator I just made. So we're gonna use some pretty simple values. If we go on my settings, my API right now default is 7%, just generally, and then a 3% inflation rate. And we're gonna go back, and I think at the end of this, I want to find out how to compile this into just a single click application, but we're gonna use some rough values. So I'm 21 now. I want to retire when I'm, let's say, 35 in 14 years, and I want to be making soon-ish, I don't know, this much money. If I say by that time I'm making that much money, actually, let's say if by 25 I'm making this much money, by that time I have 10,000 in savings, and I contribute, let's say in a month, if I can work my way up to $2,000 contribution a month. So that's not good at all. So let's go to the calculate version where you can calculate necessary funds. I'm going to use the same information, so 21 to 35, or 25 to 35. Let's say at this time, again, the 80,000. And my monthly overhead, let's say, might be $3,000. Something like that. Just giving out a rough number. And again, at that time, I'm going to be aiming to have around this much, or something like that, in my retirement savings. So maybe more. That's 4 years. I don't know. So right now, it's using this APY and this inflation rate. We're gonna go ahead and calculate, and I need to I need to contribute $12,300 to comfortably retire. So what if I change this to 2,000? It doesn't really go down too much. What if I change this to 20,000? Doesn't really go down too much. So yeah, it's just kind of like, and if I change this to 21, it goes down to 8,000. Man, so 4 years of compounding interest. But I would need to be saving this amount of money, which is good to know. I know what I'm aiming for, but man, life is hard. I hope you learned something. I know I did, and I'm gonna spruce this up a little bit, give it a title and stuff, and probably go away from the Windows, notification stuff. But other than that, this is the calculator, and I hope you enjoyed this video. My name is Millie, and I'll see you next time. I will be uploading my projects to a GitHub repository whenever I learn how to use GitHub. So if you ever want any of these applications that I make, they will be in that repository, and there will be a link in the description. So thank you, and let's all try to retire a little earlier than 65 and 70.